All right, all my friends. I know there has been an update on the status of the God of War Amazon Prime show, and it is not looking good. They've just announced some news a few hours ago, so we're going to get into that after the intro. Deadline has learned that showrunner and executive producer Rafe Judkins, along with executive producer Huck Osby and Mark Fergus, left the project after completing multiple scripts for the first season. Studios are apparently looking to move in a different direction, though one source told Deadline the trio scripts were praised by both Sony and Prime. So they were praised, but they still wanted to start over. Sony and Amazon's plan is to hire a whole new writer's room for the series that remains an important asset for Prime. Judkins is a major player for the streamer too. He's the showrunner in Real Time. Judkins is also under an overall deal with Sony, where he will continue to focus on new development. So they haven't parted ways with him at all. They just decided to go in a whole new direction. And I don't really know the Wheel of Time, but it does kind of look like a similar genre to God of War with its Norse-ish dark fantasy mythology. So he could have been a good choice. Not that I even really know the Wheel of Time, but I've seen enough of it to know that it does have similarities to God of War. So what could have been the direction they were going in that wasn't working for them? But Judkins is still under an overall deal with Sony, where he will continue to focus on new development. When first announced in December 2022, God of War was billed as following Kratos, aka the God of War who, after exiling himself from his blood-soaked past in ancient Greece, hangs up his weapons forever in the Norse realm of Midgard. When his beloved wife dies, Kratos sets out on a journey with his strange son to spread her ashes from the high peak, his wife's final wish. Kratos soon realizes the journey is an epic quest in disguise, one which will test the bond between father and son, and force Kratos to battle new gods and monsters for the fate of the world. So this is a 2018 game they're talking about, so I guess that means that they're actually adapting that particular version of the series and Kratos, because as it says right down here, the games first came out in 2005 on the PlayStation 2. The God of War franchise from Sony Santa Monica Studio and warrior Kratos and his peerless journey to exact revenge on the Ares. On the Ares probably means to say Ares, the Greek god of war, after killing his loved ones under the deity's influence. After becoming the ruthless god of war himself, Kratos finds himself constantly looking for a chance to change his fate. I only played a little bit of the earlier, I think I played a little bit of the first God of War, and yeah, it was cool, it was great, but I didn't actually own a PlayStation 2, so I never really got to play it. Co-produced by Sony Pictures TV and MGM Studios, in association with PlayStation Productions, God of War had been in works at the streamer since March of 2022, when Deadline reported exclusively that Prime was in negotiations for the property. So they've been working on it since March 2022, and that's literally been 2 years now, over 2 years, and they're starting over. It means you have another year or two at least to see how this all plays out. Santa Monica Studios' Core Barlog and Yummy Yang remain executive producers on God of War. Others are Assad, Crizzlebash, Carter Swan, Yumi Land, and Vertigo's Roy Lee. Ares! So an unfortunate bit of news about a adaptation that I was definitely curious about. I played the 2018 God of War, and it is pretty stinking amazing. It's a truly amazing game, honestly, even though I'm more of an Xbox guy. But this is hard to deny how awesome a game it is. So curious to see how this turns out, but even more curious, I would love to see where they were going with it and why it wasn't working and why did they decide to start all over again. Considering that Huck Osby and Mark Fergus are Oscar nominated screenwriters, and they actually wrote Children of Man and Iron Man. Those are awesome movies. So interesting that even with guys of this pedigree, they decided to start all over again. That's a dumb choice, but it's also Sony, and they like to destroy things before they even take off, because hey, why not? That's just how PlayStation rolls. But please, people, let me know what you think down below about these new developments. Do you care at all? I'm only slightly interested in this, mainly because of how good the first the 2018 game was. But beyond that, don't forget to comment, to like, and to subscribe. And of course, don't forget to keep gaming.